How's it going, everybody? Today is Tuesday, which means that it's time for another live Q&A about eBay dropshipping. And today is a very special live Q&A, a very special announcement, although I'm sure a lot of you can guess already what that announcement is going to be. So I'm going to wait a couple of minutes, of course, to let people get in here so I can start to answer your questions. So let's give it a minute to do that. And in the meantime, I'm going to pull up the chat so I can see what kind of questions you guys are coming up with this week that I'd be more than happy to answer for you. Double sound, he says. Is the sound a problem? Is there something wrong with the sound? Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to fix the sound. Okay, this is what I will do. Is my sound better now? And now he says I have a 10-second delay. Okay, sound is good here. Sounds good on my end. Sounds good. No problem with sound. Is the sound better now? Is it worse, better? Somebody give me some feedback on that one because I just made a change. I want to make sure there's no... Cool. Okay. More like a 2-second delay. All right, so maybe not the worst thing. Maybe I'll try one more thing to try to fix this. Boom. So let me know if that's better or worse with the delay. Everyone's saying something different. Some people are saying there's a delay. Some people are saying there's not a delay. So we'll see. Okay. Cool, guys. So thanks for coming out. Thanks for the feedback on my the quality of my video. I actually really appreciate it because I'm using some new equipment. So this is a learning experience for me as well. So Jasmine's here. Jay Goldie's here. Judith says it's better now. Okay, cool. Kimberly says it's good now. Okay, cool. Thanks, everybody. So how's everybody doing today? Where's everyone coming in from? 100% good here, says Steve in Dallas. Welcome, Steve. It's good to have you back. Scott Shapiro, hey, hey, hey. Carl Meeks says it's good. All right, so general consensus is it's working. Thanks, everybody. Scott's here from New York. Jonathan's here. Eric from Phoenix. Scott from Poughkeepsie. Virginia Beach, Kimberly is here. Jonathan from Miami. Thanks for fixing the typo. I wasn't sure if that was some city I've never heard of before. Min's here from sunny SoCal. So jealous. It was freezing here yesterday. It was like 75 degrees on Saturday, but it was freezing yesterday. Okay. Monica saying Home Depot is no longer allowing multiple address shipping. Monica, where are you seeing that? Did you go on the website and just weren't able to do it? Sometimes their website's a little bit glitchy. And when you go, it doesn't show multiple shipping addresses. And then if you kind of like clear your cache, clear your cookies, refresh the page, or sometimes just log in an hour later, it'll start working again. So Jake says, when is a good time to start a sole proprietor? So Jake, let me clarify for you. So a sole proprietor, you are a sole proprietor right now. It's just anyone who is conducting business under their own name. So if you're conducting business under your own name, then you are a sole proprietor. One thing that you could do is get what's called a DBA, which is called a doing business as. It's also sometimes known as a certificate of assumed name. And basically what that does is that allows you to conduct business as yourself, but under another name. So it would be Jake doing business as, best deals on eBay. Something like that would be your store name. Don't make that your name though, because then you'll get into copyright issues with eBay. But yeah, so maybe you'll make it like Jake doing business as the best store in the world, something like that. And that's how you can conduct business under another name other than your own name. But for right now, if you don't have a corporation or an official business, you are a sole proprietor. Dollar Ideas is here from Texas. Chad Grossman says, video looks good. Kathy Ward says, I'm still in North Carolina. What's up, Paul? Cheers from Orange County, California, says Sergio. Let's see what else we have. Jake is from New York. We have Isaac from the Bronx. Yeah, Mr. MT118 says he had no problem doing multiple address shipping even today on Home Depot. Like I said, sometimes their website's just glitchy. I would try that. Dale says, when buying feedback, what amount will get you restricted? I'm not sure what you mean by buying feedback. You should never be buying feedback. What you can do is buy cheap items, and then you'll get feedback as a buyer for those cheap items. You can do that a little bit. It's hard for them to really catch that you're doing it, especially if it's things you already need, like legit items that you want. But a lot of people get what's called penny products, like penny recipes, buy a recipe for $1. I did that a little bit in the beginning, helps get you some more reviews. But in my experience, reviews like that aren't really necessary. You're going to get sales and you're going to get the reviews anyway. Jay says, is there an early bird fee for the course? So an early bird discount. Jay, what course are you talking about? Oh, Paul, quarter one. When your VA makes orders for you with gift cards, how do you know they won't sell your gift cards? Manpreet says. So Manpreet, that's a good question. I guess they could sell my gift cards. It's something that I've never really been concerned about, because you have to think of this from every angle, right? They're going to, if they, let's say you have $500 on a gift card, they're going to sell it. They're not going to get $500 for it. They're probably going to get somewhere in the $400 range for it, right? My VAs have been working for me for so long. They've made a lot more than that from me, a lot more than $400. They make about at least $400 a month doing that. So it's not really worth for them to sell the gift cards doing that. Also, it's going to ruin their reputation. They're never going to get a job on whatever platform they're advertising themselves on, whether it's Upwork or online jobs. And what was the other part of that question? Yeah, so that's basically, it's not something I've ever been too concerned about. And you know, buying the gift cards themselves are a way to protect yourselves from giving them your credit card information, which I think puts you at a much higher risk than just a gift card. So Dustin says, do you still buy gift cards? Gift Card Spread has been sending me gift cards with the wrong amounts, like $125 on a gift card that was supposed to be $500. So Dustin, you should contact them right away as soon as that happens. I don't buy discounted gift cards anymore because I don't like having to shuffle them all around and keep track of them all. For Home Depot, what I do is just reload the gift cards. I have 10. I just reload them in $500 or so increments for my VAs to use. And that's the way I handle that. I have had some problems with some cashback websites. They're usually very attentive and they will respond right away. I had a lot of problems with one earlier this year that I'm still trying to sort out a little bit. So that's another reason it's kind of a pain when things like that happen. Julie Pretty Wolf is here. Flossie Drops It says, hey, Paul. So Mike wants any more updates on the Supreme Court ruling on online sales tax. So this has been, I guess, kind of hot in the news. It's been on the news more recently. I think NPR just did a big story about it and CNN was talking about it. The fact that all online retailers might have to start, specifically these people we're talking about, Amazon, might have to start paying sales tax to every state. How that's going to affect us exactly is not entirely clear. The Supreme Court, last I looked, hadn't heard the case yet, but I'm going to look into that. I've been a little bit preoccupied, but I have been keeping an eye on it. I do have alerts set up to let me know when news of that comes up. So what I'm talking about here, I mentioned it in a past video. Some states have sued. We're not sued. What did they do? I forget exactly how it got raised up to the Supreme Court, but they basically want to charge online retailers sales tax. They want the online retailers to collect sales tax for them. And right now, websites like Amazon can get around it because they don't have a presence in these states. And the states say, you know, you're online, it's like you have a presence in every state. And that could affect us because we would have to start collecting sales tax and remitting it to every state, unless eBay starts to do that for us, which would be pretty nice. But it's not something you should be too worried about, because even if that does happen, then everyone's going to have to do it anyway. So you'll be just as competitive. And there's very easy ways to collect sales taxes, websites like TaxJar that would do it for you automatically. Right now, I'm only collecting sales tax for one state here in New York. It's pretty easy to manage. I just do it manually. But if I had to do more than one state, I would definitely use something like TaxJar. It makes it very easy. To be honest, I've never used TaxJar, but I've spoken to a lot of my students and a lot of friends who have used it, and they say it's super easy to set up and use. And basically what it does is it collects sales tax. It says, okay, this sales tax is for this state, this is for this state, and then it sends it out to that state automatically so you don't have to do it. See other questions we have. Dale's here from the Caribbean. Hey, Paul, how do you protect so Tim has a great question. How do you protect yourself from listing Vero violation products when listing multiple thousands items? So what the great thing is, a lot of listing software will alert you if you have a Vero violation product that you're trying to list. So for instance, DSM tool, which I use, you can turn it on at Vero protection. So it will alert you and tell you, hey, this product violates Vero. You might not want to list it. That's really the easiest way to do it. So Sergio says, hey, Paul, I just applied for Grind Camp in July. So Grind Camp is a camp for adults, I guess. It's us. And you can go there. It's basically a co-working space for a whole month, but it's also like an event because they're going to have speakers there, people helping each other out, helping us to grow our businesses, like a huge month-long mastermind. It's down in Nicaragua, and it's for the entire month of July. I'm going to be there the first weekend. You have to apply for it. Not everyone that gets accepted. There's a limited number of spots. So if you're interested in checking that out, the website is grindcamp.co. Oops, I just missed some messages. I try to keep up with the messages, but I just missed some. Doc Shop is fashionably late, he says. Okay. Eric, you can't reload Walmart gift cards, but you can just buy them and then load them up onto the website. Okay. Judith says, I just hired my first VA. It went smooth, but I still have so many questions. Well, Judith, I might have an answer for you, because the big announcement I want to make, if you guys haven't guessed, is that my virtual assistant course is completely finished now. It is ready. I have it ready to go, and it is called Super Simple VAs, supersimplevas.com. It is going to launch in about 15 minutes is when it's going to go live. I have a little countdown on the website. It says 15 minutes and 15 seconds right now. The reason it's called Super Simple VAs, let me show you, let me share my screen with you guys and show you what this is about. Okay, here we go. So this is the page, this is my little countdown. This is the course curriculum for Super Simple VAs. And it's not only going to teach you how to become, it's not only going to teach you how to hire and train a virtual assistant, but right in the beginning, I kind of go through this kind of like mindset with you guys, because it's really important for you to start to think of yourself as the boss, and more than just the boss, the CEO of your eBay dropshipping business. And this is really critical because you have to be a good manager. And most of us, a lot of us have always been employees. We've never had the opportunity to even manage somebody, let alone be the boss or the CEO. And that's something you kind of have to wrap your head around. Otherwise, you're not going to be successful or as successful. So I talk about that. I help you develop that mindset so you can really start to utilize the virtual assistants the correct way. Then I go over what you should be doing well before you first hire a virtual assistant. So these are things you have to start planning now if you want to have a successful team of virtual assistants. And I go over all that really clearly for you guys here. And right here is where I talk about how to hire your first virtual assistant. I go through step by step. And here's the really cool thing. Up here, I have this is a bonus for you guys, a free bonus. It's a checklist to show you exactly, you can just follow along and check off so you make sure you don't miss a step. And in here, where I talk about the job postings, as a bonus, I'm giving you guys job postings that you can use. You literally just copy and paste them. Then I go over how to review the applications, how to conduct the interviews, and I give you the interview questions to do. And actually right here are sample interviews that I've actually conducted that you guys can just read through so you guys don't miss a beat as you are interviewing these potential virtual assistants. Then when you actually hire the virtual assistant, I show you exactly what to do to get them up and running. I show you how to set the expectations with them, how to create the training material, which are videos and documents. And this is a really important lesson right here. This is how to allow your virtual assistant to safely work on your eBay store without ever accessing your eBay account. And there is so much that virtual assistants can do for your store without you ever having to give them your eBay login information. And I go over all that in this video. It's really powerful. I know this is a concern for a lot of people, the security of their eBay account, and that's where all this is right in there. What else do I have in here? I also talk about firing your virtual assistant. That does happen from time to time. We do have to talk about that. And then I talk about how to expand this team. So you have one virtual assistant. As you grow, you want more virtual assistants. You want to basically, at the end, have a team of virtual assistants that are running your entire store. And that's what I have. I have 9 virtual assistants. They run 95% of my eBay business for me. I just spend about 30 minutes on it a day on the core of the business. But this is another really cool thing. So I taught you guys here how to train your virtual assistants, but I've made it super simple for you. This is why the website's called Super Simple VAs, because I not only give you the checklist so that you don't miss a beat, I give you the job postings that you just copy and paste. I give you the interview questions that you just copy and paste. And watch this. This is a website that you can give your virtual assistant access to. It is password protected, but everyone in the course is going to get this password. These are videos your virtual assistant can watch and learn from. These are training videos done for you already. So you don't have to make the training videos. I've done them for you right here. You just give your virtual assistant access to this other website. You don't have to give them access to the course because I didn't want to do that because your credit card information is saved in here. But this is a separate website. Your credit card information is not in here. If you get this, then your virtual assistant can just click on this, watch the video, and they are fully trained. So that's everything I'm giving for you guys. I try to make it super simple, which is why it's called Super Simple VAs, and it launches in 10 minutes. But you know what? So I'm very excited for that. I was going to launch it just a little early, but I think I'm going to wait a couple minutes. So I'm going to stop my screen sharing. And we'll go back to there in a second. Okay, so let me scroll up because I want to get as many of these questions as I can. Dale says, have I ever tried anything other than drop shipping? In terms of e-commerce, no, I have not. Just drop shipping on e-commerce. James says, I hope you're having a good day. Welcome, James. James is one of my students. Okay. Yes, Jay asked, does my course train VAs how to process orders? That separate website that I showed you, the VAs can log in there and it shows them how to process the orders. I have one up right now showing Walmart, and I have 2 that I recorded, and I just have to upload one for Amazon, one for Home Depot, and there's gonna be a lot more videos coming. Don't worry, you'll have them before you need them. So they're all going to be in there. Okay. No, the spider, I do not do anything with store categories. Okay. So Dante says, is a course available now? We have 8 minutes and 45 seconds before it launches. So it will be available in 8 minutes from now. So some people are asking when the first course went live, the first 25 people who signed up were given free access to the VA course. They already have access to it. So those ones already got their discount for it. Okay. Of course. Dalia says, I just signed up for your course. I'm going through your videos slowly as my 2 little girls keep me busy. Yeah, family's got to come first, but then as soon as they go to sleep, that's when you can start to hustle. All Things Geek says, looks kick butt. Thank you. Dave says, definitely going to get on that VA course. I think I need to virtual assistant myself and take the course. Oops, I just skipped some questions. Gen X Hustler says, this looks like a game changer. Okay, Edward says, how do you handle the refund process with Home Depot products and the time restrictions for doing refunds on eBay? So Edward, generally the time to return an item to Home Depot is much longer than my return policy on eBay. So my return policy is 30 days. You can have a 14-day one, but starting next month, you can only have a 30-day at the least. And Home Depot is usually 90 days, but some items are 30 days. But regardless, you're still within that time period. So Jay says, I spend every day processing $2,000 worth of orders. It takes me about 2 to 3 hours, but how long do you think it will take my VA to do? I plan on taking your course so I can outsource that part. That's a great first thing to outsource because it is taking you a long time. If it's taking you 2 to 3 hours, it is usually going to take your virtual assistant a little bit longer, if only because their internet is usually not as good as ours. So I would say anywhere from 3 to 4 in their case. But remember, you're only going to be paying them about $2 an hour. So you really got to make an analysis. How much is your time worth compared to $2 an hour? If you think it's worth more than $2 an hour, if you could grow your store during those 2 to 3 hours that you would otherwise be placing orders, is that worth it to you? For me, it is worth it. So that's why I do it. Shoot. Keep skipping the questions. Okay. Jonathan says, any free giveaways for the course there? Keep an eye open because I will be having a contest, but I will let you guys know that if you buy the course at any time during the next week, then and you win the contest, I will reimburse you for the cost of the course. So don't be afraid to jump on it now because the course is going to launch in, how long do we have now? 5 minutes and 3 seconds. But as soon as it launches, you have 1 week to get it at the launch price. And after that, the price will go up. So 1 week to get the special discounted launch price, and then the price goes up. But I will have information about the contest later in this week. But if you win the contest and you already bought the course, I will reimburse you for the cost of the course. Okay. So Dante has a great comment. Dante says, my VA works faster than I do on small tasks. And you'll find that with some of the VAs, they do work much faster than you. Remember that these virtual assistants, you might be hiring one who's already done order fulfillment for years or listing for years. So they're better than you. I'm sorry to say it, a lot of times they're going to be better than you at these jobs. So you might as well hire someone better than you to do it for much cheaper than your time is worth. So that's what's really cool about hiring these virtual assistants. Okay, let's see how much time we have. 3 minutes and 45 seconds till the course launches. I think I saw a question, but just lost it. Too many windows open. Okay. So Dale says, how many listings get you $1,000 a month in profit? I'm assuming Dale means. So there's really no one answer to this. The rule of thumb, the general rule is that if you have 1,000 listings, you're going to end up getting $1,000 a month in profit. But that's a very general statement. Some items are going to have really high profit margins, some really low. Some items, even if they have a high profit margin, are really cheap, or some items might have a low profit item but be really expensive. So there's so many variables in here. It really, really depends. The key really is to list as many products as you can, as long as they are good quality products. And you can either do that or hire a virtual assistant to help you do that faster and scale up your store even quicker. I did an interview a couple weeks ago with one of my students, Bill. If you haven't checked out that interview, that is a great interview. And in it, Bill kind of surprised me because he hired a virtual assistant his first month doing eBay dropshipping, and had the virtual assistant just list. And he attributes that to a lot of his success in the with eBay dropshipping. He did really well his first month doing it. So that's just an option that you can explore as well. Cool. Let's see what we got here. So Renato says, do you add sales tax to your listings for the states that are not tax exempt? No, you got to be very careful with this. And I've said this many times, but that's okay. Like I'm not patronizing you. I'm just saying that I want people to really understand this. You can't charge sales tax for a state unless you are registered to collect sales tax for that state. So I'm registered to collect sales tax for New York. I do collect sales tax for New York, and then I send it to New York every quarter. I don't collect sales tax for any other state, even a state like Florida where I'm not tax exempt, because it's illegal for me to do that. So just be very clear with that. I don't want you guys getting in trouble. Kimberly says, the interview with Bill was very informative. Yeah, it was definitely one of my favorite videos that I've done so far. It was great having Bill on here. Sea Monkey says, are you still doing a video about piercing the corporate veil? I forgot that I said I was going to make that video. I can make that if people are still interested. That's a legal term for when you have an LLC, and the LLC is supposed to give you protection from certain liabilities if your company gets sued. But if you don't follow corporate protocols and follow things properly, then you could get sued. It's not. I don't want you guys to worry about this. If you do it right, you're fine. So I should make a video about this, just explaining it so that people do follow it right if they do form an LLC. Okay, we are closing in here. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, I'll go like this. We are closing in 9. Shoot, I want to do this live. 2, 1. So we are live with the course. I'll just click this button. Now if I refresh this, you can now, enroll in the course. So it is live. I'm going to get rid of this countdown timer. I'm just going to change it to say that the course will increase in price in almost exactly 1 week. What's a week from today? April 24th at 11:59 p.m. That's when the price of the course will go up. But it is live now. If you guys want to check it out, like I said, you will get these videos that you can send to your virtual assistants. They can actually just log in right here. You can tell them which video to watch. So that's going to make it super simple for you guys. And I have all the scripts in here as well to make it super, super simple for you guys. But I know you guys have more questions about eBay dropshipping. Let me turn off the screen share. Okay. It's live, yay! I wish I had like one of those like party things or like a party hat or confetti or something, because it did take me a long time to put it together. I think it's because it was a couple of things. The first course is much bigger, but I feel like it actually took me shorter amount of time. And I think it's because it was right after Christmas. It was kind of a slower time. I had more time. Now I'm running the eBay store, and I'm also doing stuff with the main course, answering a lot of questions for you guys, which I'm more than happy to do. And I think I just set higher expectations for myself with the second course. I really wanted it to be perfect and have everything in it so that you guys can feel totally comfortable hiring and training these virtual assistants, which is why it took me longer to get out than I wanted. But it is live. We have the fireworks going in the chat. So super, super excited. And I hope you guys like it. Let's see. Cool. PDR says he already bought it. Pete, thank you, Pete. Cool. So Dave says, will there be a promo to buy the dropshipping course with the VA course? I don't have any plans for that yet. I might do something like that after the launch week. Right now, we're still on the launch week. After the 24th at 11:59 p.m., we will figure that one out. But the price it is now, it will never be cheaper than it is right now. I'll say that. Judith says, just enrolled. Awesome. Thank you, Judith. Flossie just bought it. Thank you, Flossie. These are the Team Titan. I got to think of a cool name for them, like the Super Elite Team Titan, something like that. Cool. Okay, so if anyone has any more questions, I'm here to answer them for you guys. Anything about eBay dropshipping, virtual assistants. Virtual assistants are on my mind because it's all I've been living and breathing the last month. So I had a great question. I'm probably going to make a video on this because it is something that not a lot of people know about. So what happens sometimes is that someone buys an item from you, you ship it out, and then you get an email from eBay saying this was a fraudulent purchase, and they're going to cancel a sale, but you've already shipped it out, or maybe you already ordered it. So what do? Now the order's canceled, but you've already shipped it to them. So this is pretty simple. All you have to do is call eBay, and they'll usually refund you for the cost of the item. You show that it was sent out and delivered, that you got their cancellation notice too late. It was already processing. You couldn't cancel it. Kathy C says, yes, I'm in. Carl says, I bought it the second you opened it. Thank you, Carl. Dante says, I already do $40,000 in sales. Will this help me? Dante, it really depends. Do you have virtual assistants? I was at about probably $30,000, $35,000 in sales or maybe even a little before that, when I started hiring virtual assistants. And I found that was really critical for growing my store because I can't spend time placing orders. It's just not a good use of my time. I have to spend it, during that time, it was listing and then doing strategies to increase my profit, trying out new stores, listing from new stores. And once I got that system down, then teaching a virtual assistant how to do it. You don't want to do things that are just routine tasks, repetitive tasks. Those are things you want to outsource to your virtual assistants. And Bill said it really, really well. My student Bill said he's just going to hire people who are smarter than him. These virtual assistants are so much smarter than him. They've been doing this a lot longer than he has. So that's really the best way to kind of grow your store quickly. Let's scroll up and see some of these. Dustin says he's already in. Jonathan's in as well. Guys, this is awesome. Thank you so much. This is really exciting. I like having this little party. Min says this is a great value, one of the early birds. Jonathan has to go and watch the course. Go, Jonathan. That's awesome. So John says, John has a great question. How do you pay yourself without piercing the corporate veil? Again, this is something I'll cover in the video, but you have to write yourself a check. You have to write yourself a paycheck. And you have to talk to your accountant because it really depends on how your LLC is set up, whether it is income or what's called a draw. And there's a lot of factors with taxes and how you're set up, that really depends on that, which is the best way to pay yourself. Okay. So Nika says, I'm trying to purchase it, but not finding it. Nika, go to www.supersimplevas.com and check that out. I think I put a link to it underneath the video. Yeah, although it's not clickable for some reason. But if you copy and paste it, yeah, it brings you right there. Alan says he bought it. Nika says, yeah, I'll drop a supersimplevas.com. There you go. Actually, I'll make a better link to that. Some people are having trouble with it. Let me see what we do. Check out that link. Just copy and paste that, and that should work for you. Yeah, Jay Goldie says, could the same rule of thumb for 1,000 items equal $1,000 in profit be said about 500 items for $500? Or is it more of having quantity? So yeah, it's just a general rule of thumb. So 500 items could equal $500 in profit. But it really depends on the quality of those listings. And again, the profit margins and which sources you're listing from, how saturated it is, things like that. What do you say your name? Sorry. Janati has a great suggestion, says, give it a thumbs up. I would appreciate that. I always forget about that. Just so if you like the video, if you're getting some value out of it, if I answer your question, please give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. I always forget about that. No, Spidey, I do not optimize my store categories. I don't worry about store categories. I just list the items right in there, right in my main store. Judith says, I muted you here because I'm watching the VA course. That's awesome, Judith. Thank you so much. Let's see what else. Alan said he bought it. Nika, let me know if the links that I sent you work. So Monica wants an update from Home Depot's cashback problem. So if you guys remember, was that last week already? Home Depot just started to steal all of our cash back that we had received, and that was pending. So where is that? What's going on with that? So we don't really have a good update. Every time I talk to Giving Assistant, I kind of get like a little different story. Right now, if you use their website, it doesn't track it on the website, but they're saying Home Depot would track it. So I'm not really sure what that means. So what I'm just using is Simply Best Coupon for now. That seems to be working. Although, again, we're not really sure what's going on Home Depot's end because we're not really getting a clear answer. There was some hope that the money would be returned to us. I'm still hoping for that because I did lose quite a bit of money that I really like back. But we'll see what happens. There are some rumors going around that Home Depot will no longer give you cash back if you check out with a gift card. Now, the truth is that this has been a rule of Home Depot's for a while, but they never enforced it. So when they first started to take our cash back, some people assumed that it was because we were using gift cards. But you really can't assume stuff like that. Luckily, I was able to speak to a lot of my different students, some who use gift cards and some don't. Everyone was having a problem. So that's when I explained to Giving Assistant that's not the reason it's happening. But they kind of seem clueless as to what's really going on, although they do promise they're talking to Home Depot about it. So unfortunately, not a real update right now, but they're working on it. Shoot. Ivy says, do promoted listings work? Ivy, this is something I'm experimenting with, and I have seen some I'm experimenting with it. It's not something that I feel comfortable giving an opinion of one way or the other yet, because I'm just trying it out. I've tried it out in the past. Didn't really see the results I was hoping for back then, but I didn't keep good track of exactly what I was doing, so I don't even know if I was doing it right. So now I'm trying something a little different, and I'll let you guys know as soon as I can really dig into the analytics and see the conversions and how they compare to without using promoted listings. This is something you do in eBay. It just takes, you probably have seen it as you're scrolling through listings. It will say like promoted listing, it'll bump one up to the top. The reason I never did it in the past was because from a buyer's perspective, I never really saw the benefit of it. As a buyer looking at the different listings, there would be one at the top that said promoted listing. But as a buyer, I would always scroll past that and just look for the one that was the best price or that looked like the best product for me. But that might just be me being a very like frugal and cost-conscious consumer, where other people might just see it as, the more times your listing shows up on a page, the more likely it is someone is to buy it. So I'm experimenting with, I'm giving it another chance. So Luxury Card Store says, do you have a certain markup percentage that you usually stick to? So there's not one set one. What I usually do is somewhere around 25%, but it really depends. It depends on if anyone else is selling the item, or rather how many other people are selling the item, if there is a lot of cash back for this particular supplier, things like that. That can really lower my margins so I can be more competitive if I want it to be. David is having great results. David says he has 35 listings, and in 3 weeks, he's done $340 in profit. So that's pretty awesome. It's really nice. I remember when I was first starting out, getting just like my first $100 in a week. And I was like, wow, like I can go out to dinner and not like stress out about it. It's super awesome to have something like that happening. So somebody asked, do I list random items? Sorry, I just lost the question, so I don't know who asked it. Yeah, I don't have a niche. I list anything and everything. I guess you could kind of say I'm in the home improvement, home goods niche, but that's kind of broad, so not really. Steve in Dallas has been really helpful. He's been talking with Home Depot, and he agrees there's no real updates since 2 days ago. Not really hearing much over there. Eddie asks if I ever do store reviews for Titans, suggesting improvements. That's something I've never really done, to be honest. Although I would entertain the idea of doing it. I don't know how, there'll have to be a large trust factor. Like, obviously, you guys, I'm not going to snipe you. I'm not going to steal your items if you share your store with me. But I'm not sure how many people would actually be interested in that. In the course, I show you exactly how to set up the store. So if you follow that, that should all be set. So there's not really too much I can look at other than which items you're listing and how you're listing them in terms of the title and the pricing. So that's really the only thing I would look at. You don't have to give me your store to do that. But I'm not sure if that's something that people would actually be interested in me doing for them. Yeah, Dante, I just talked about my margins. Okay, shoot. So Frank, in general, for Amazon.com, using cashback, you only get cashback for certain categories, not all of them. So Gennady says, is there an alternative for DSGenie to be able to scan people's stores and see what's being sold successfully? So there's two cheaper alternatives. The makers of, there's actually several, but the makers of DSGenie made another software called Shop is Spy, which is basically just a boiled down version. It just shows you, it's just the scanner portion of it. So you don't have all the other features. Another website that's very popular is Zeek Analytics. I have tried that one, so I can recommend it. I think it's a really good software to scan other people's stores to see what is successfully selling. So it's called Zeek Analytics, that one. Dante asks a very hard question. If I had to choose between being a lawyer and a dropshipper, which one would I choose? I'm not sure, Dante. It's a good question. Justin says, how do you deal with quantity limits on Walmart? So what Justin says, yeah, so he gives an example. So what Justin's talking about is if you have an item that is some items you buy from Walmart, you can only buy a certain number of them. So if, let's say 5 people on eBay buy them from you, you buy 3, you go to buy the 4th one, they say you've hit your quantity, you can't buy more than 3. So there's a couple of ways. There's really one way around this, and that's to make another Walmart account. You kind of have to be secretive about it. I don't know if you have to make another IP address or how, I don't even know how that stuff works. But you have to make another account and make sure it's not associated with the first account. But then you won't get taxes that you have to apply for tax exempt for the second the second account. So that just seems like a lot of work, which, is a good reason to do it, because if it's a trouble for other people to sell this item, if there's a high barrier for other people to sell this item, then not a lot of people are going to be selling it. So that means it's more likely that you can make a profit from it. If you don't want to deal with that anyway, then you just delete the item from your store. That's all you can do. Dante says, I've got like 3 Walmart accounts. Yeah, so Dante is probably selling items that other people can't. Sorry, Dante, I'm just going to say this. You're probably selling items that other people can't sell because they're just worried about these limits. They're not willing to put in that extra work to create and manage 3 different Walmart accounts. But because you're willing to do it, you're going to sell those items that other people can't list. Carl says, I'm working out of one store and have a lot of my own products. I'm not sure. Do you mean you're selling items from your house that you own already? And what do you mean by one store? One source or just one eBay store? Okay. So Jasmine, are you an attorney too? Because Jasmine says she would always choose being an attorney over being a dropshipper. Okay. Dahlia says, should I use my 2006 eBay account with 66 positive feedback or create a new one separate from my personal email? So Dahlia, you can change your email address on eBay if that's what you're worried about, and make a new email address just for dropshipping and set it up with that eBay account. That's an option. I would go with that option, especially if you're not using that eBay account for anything else, because you're going to have a higher limit. It's going to put you ahead of the curve. I highly recommend that you use an existing store. There's a good chance that you have a higher listing limit with it, as long as you have good feedback and you don't have any defects on your account. Rodrigo asks how the VA course is coming along. Rodrigo, I don't know if you're late to the party. The VA course has launched. Oh, he's kidding with me. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it is launched. It's supersimplevas.com because I'm making it super simple for you guys to hire and train your own virtual assistant. Okay. Has anyone had Amazon lock your account? All I had was my gift card and they asked for credit card statements, etc. All I had was a gift card. I'm not sure exactly what happened, Brad, without really hearing more about it. I don't know if you're selling on Amazon or buying from Amazon or what that is. So Nika said the link worked and she's now the proud owner of your VA course. Thank you. Congratulations on your second course. Thank you, Nika. I would love to hear what you think of it. So Renzo, no, the VA course is separate from the Titans course. Dante said, any way to get around feedback revision limits? So Dante, there's no way around it besides just getting more feedback. But what I generally do is I'm very sparse with how many feedbacks I request, or revisions I request. I exhaust every other remedy first. I first try to get it removed, or yeah, I try to get it removed in one way or another. I try a couple different ways, and if that doesn't work, then I'll ask for revision. But I always plan as if I'm going to ask for revision. So as I'm going along trying to get it removed, I'm not trying to annoy the customer anymore. I'm trying to make them happy, because if you try to make them happy, then eBay sees that and they're more likely to remove it. It's when you don't offer good customer service that you might be harder to get it removed. So that way it makes eBay happy, they're more likely to remove it. And if they don't, the customer is hopefully happier, and then you can get it revised. So I would just recommend that you're a little more sparse. You're very certain when you send feedback that there's no other option available to get it removed, and that the customer is highly likely to revise it. Michael asks about restocking fees. Doesn't really matter anymore. Starting next month, we're not allowed to charge a restocking fee. So Frank, DSM tool reprices items every hour. And what happens if they reprice it and then the price changes, and so now the item is more expensive? You either got to take the hit, that does happen sometimes, or you got to cancel the order, which is not good to do. It really depends on how much of a difference it is. Or you can try to see if, like, if you wait a day, if the price will go back down. It's really hard to know. Rodrigo has lit the fire, says, yes, I'm late to this party. I can't wait to get it. Talking about the VA course, super simple VAs. So Broking Asia says, do you worry about too many returns that your source will block your account? No, because a lot of returns means a lot of purchases, and a lot of purchases means a happy source. They're happy I'm spending money on their store. So Dante, I do talk about how to manage multiple virtual assistants. I'm not sure what you mean by the daily Excel sheets. Can you elaborate on what you mean by daily Excel sheets? And I'll tell you if that's in the course or if it's something that I might add. Tim, you can't avoid PayPal jail, but you can just get out of it quicker by fulfilling all your orders on time, getting the tracking numbers uploaded, so that way PayPal sees that the item was sent out and delivered. Brad says he was fulfilling eBay orders via Amazon, and 5 minutes later get an address verification email. So I've honestly never seen that. I don't know what that is. Whatever they're telling you to do, I would follow those steps and do them so you can get that ban lifted. Oh, Judith, yes, my VA does keep track of the listings on a spreadsheet. Well, she was for a while. I don't have her doing it anymore, simply because she's the only one who lists. I only have one doing it. And I get an email every time she lists an item. So if I want to see if she's listing or which one she is listing, I can just go through my email. They get archived right away into a separate folder. But I see, oh, today she listed this many items. Today, the day before, she listed this many items. That's really the best way, the easiest and most instantaneous way for me to keep track of it. The Flossie says, what's the best way to ask a customer to revise feedback? So Flossie, what you want to do first is obviously try to meet their needs. Whatever it is that they're upset about, fix it. So if it's a price and if it's worth, refunding them a partial refund to get that removed, then do that. Always being very polite, apologetic through the process. These are anything you expect in customer service, apologizing for whatever the problem is. If it's a return issue, let's say they're mad, they have to return the item, and it's a cheap item. Maybe you just want to tell them to throw it away and they can keep it. You're out the money and you refund them. And you're out that money. Is that worth it to you? That's something you got to think about. So these are all different things you can do to try to make them happy. Once they are happy, then you can go in. I usually wait about 2 days after it's resolved. Like I'll say to them, have we fully made this to your satisfaction? If they say yes, we'll say, great. Thank you so much for letting us make this right for you. Then I wait 2 days, and then I send them an email saying, hey, because this is all worked out, would you mind considering revising the feedback to neutral or positive? because we don't really care if it's neutral because it doesn't count towards a negative. And it just kind of like lightens the blow a little bit. So you're not asking them exactly to make it positive, just neutral or positive. But every time I've done it, they've made it a positive feedback instead. So that's what I would recommend. Luxury, you can have a different email address on eBay and a different one on PayPal. But you can also add a new email address to PayPal if you want them to be the same. So Christina says, I keep getting a message from DSM Tools saying postal code is not valid. What am I doing wrong? So Christina, if you're new at this, then probably what's wrong is that your business policies are not set up correctly. I would go into DSM Tool, the settings where there's business policies. There's 3 drop downs, one for shipping, one for returns, and one for what's the other one? Whatever the third one is. Just make sure that you select the right ones. Click the drop down and select the right one that you want to be using. It should be like the default one. Steve in Dallas has the golden rule, just keep listing, or have your VA keep listing. So Judith, no, like I said, I don't have my VA track listings on a spreadsheet, but it might be a good idea to do that in the beginning. I did have her doing it in the beginning, and I can add that to the course. It's pretty simple. I'll write a note down about it. Boom. Okay, so we have listings. Spreadsheet. Dante says, I use a file exchange sheets daily so my VAs can see the orders. It helps with multi-VAs and organization. Yeah, Dante, I used to do that before I started using really DSM Tool, but it's not something I do anymore. But if a lot of people are still doing that, I'd be happy to add that to the course as well. Okay. Brad says, how many eBay accounts can you have for PayPal? I think you can have 8 eBay accounts attached to each PayPal account. So Dahlia says, when you're starting with a VA for listings, do you tell them which products to list, or does she do the research and then list the items? That's up to you. I have mine doing the research herself, and then she lists the items. But I would suggest at first you just have her list items that you tell her to do so you can make sure that they're done correctly. Okay. So Rich asked a question that I forget the answer to. So if anyone remembers the answer to this, please let me know. It says, how many, or help Rich out here, how many feedback revisions are you allowed? I know that it depends on how many positive or how many feedbacks in total you have. I think for every 1,000 feedback you receive, you're allowed 5 revisions within a year or something like that. But I don't remember exactly what it is. So the VA course is really good for any type of listing because it's going to show you, it's going to teach you everything you need to know to hire and train a virtual assistant, and then you can teach them whatever you want. Now, the training videos that I have that your virtual assistant can watch specifically go over snoptimization, I guess you could call it. But if you're sniping, you can just send them that video and then say, but instead, this is how I want you to do it. Or for optimization, you could send them the video, but then send them a message that says, but instead, just change this little bit. So, you know, the videos are the way that I think most people do it. But if you want to make some small changes, you can always tell your virtual assistant, just make this small change. I know I showed you in the video to do it this way, but just make this small change to it. Okay, so Dante, what's easier about DSM tool is that it's just very, very friendly, very easy to use. So with the file exchange, what Dante's talking about is every day you can go into the file exchange and download all your orders. It'll show you the order and the address, everything in there, but it won't show you the source. What actually depends on which listing software you use. Some listing software will kind of give you a item number for certain sources, but not all of them. Like I know if you're using SKU Grid and HydroLister, it doesn't. So then you have to find a way to merge two sheets together. So you have all the orders plus a link to the item, and then you separate them and send them to different virtual assistants. But with DSM tool, I don't have to do through all those steps. The VAs just log in, they can click a button, it brings them to the item, and they can, if it's Home Depot, if it's Walmart or Amazon, it's such an easy copy and paste DSM extension for that. We're kind of running out of time here. I went a little bit over, but again, great questions. A lot of people asking a lot of great questions about supersimplevas.com, the new virtual assistant course. But so Judith, if you have bought the course and you want to find the training videos for the virtual assistants, scroll all the way down to the bottom. There is a video. The last video is just an introduction video to you to explain how the training videos work. And underneath that is the link to those videos and the password that you can then give to your virtual assistant. And what you can do is find the video that you want to give to them, click on it, then copy that URL, send that to your VA. When they click on that, it's going to bring them right to the video, but they'll have to log in with the password, which you can give them. Okay. Judith found it. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. This has been really exciting. It was fun doing this launch live with you guys, doing the little countdown. Sorry about the screen share. I wanted to get like the last 10 seconds of the countdown, but that's okay. You guys are all here with me. I really appreciate it. We kind of went through this whole journey of making this virtual assistant course together. So that was pretty cool that we were able to launch together as well. So if you guys like this video, if you guys got some value out of it, please give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. And if you guys want to make sure that you don't miss the next live stream, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification. And also keep your eyes open. Throughout this week, I'm going to be sending out a couple of emails, a couple of videos about the course, some free stuff I'm giving away. So keep your eyes open for that contest. Like I said, if you win the contest, which I'll announce later, all the details about the contest. If you win that contest and you've already bought the course, I'll reimburse you for the cost of the course. So don't worry about that. Thanks so much for being here. I love you guys, and I will see you later this week.